the Greek New Testament is Sophia, and the Hebrew word for wisdom in the Old Testament is chokma. And both words are actually very closely aligned with how we use the word wisdom in English today. What I want to emphasize, though, is that the use of the word wisdom in biblical times, it simply meant the ability to make a decision or give advice based on one's experience, knowledge, and character. And that was the only use of it in the Bible. How can we trust and have faith that Jesus' advice, his wisdom, is the best to take for us individually? Jesus answers that question too. In Matthew 11:19, Jesus says that wisdom is proven right by its deeds. In other words, wisdom, advice, is proven right by its effects, by its results. So we can know that advice and decision-making is good and right by seeing the results of those who take the good wisdom or advice and put it into place. For now, I want us to look at some more verses about following God's wisdom and what following his advice and his decision-making leads to. And let's also think about how we can monitor the results and prove it to ourselves so that we can pray for God's direction without any doubt that his direction will be given or revealed to us. Let's look at what it says in James 1. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who will give it to you. If you need the best advice or help with making a decision and you don't have it, you lack it, you should ask God for it. But then the verse goes on to say, God will give it to you generously and without reproach. Generously, okay, and without reproach. So let's dig just a little bit deeper here. The word generously and the phrase generously without reproach means that God will answer this prayer by giving his guidance bountifully, overflowing, without holding anything back, and without reproach indicates that he will do so clearly, with simplicity, and without having any negative critical thoughts towards us as if, well, you should already know what to do. Okay. So generously and without reproach, it means God is not going to play games or give us a tricky or a mysterious piece of advice or direction that we have to decode. When we request his wisdom, his advice, his direction in our lives, he's going to give it to us plainly and simply. Then James goes on to write that it is important that when we pray for God's wisdom, that we pray in faith and do not have doubt that God will give us the advice or the direction that we need. And so this is a theme that's throughout the New Testament, praying without doubt. So yes, that's the hard part, not doubting. So how do I get to the point that I can pray for God's advice, decision, or direction without having doubt? Think about what problem or situation could you use God's wisdom or help? Okay, anything. What I mean is, what problem or situation do you have today, no matter how big or small of a problem it might be? Because you may think everything's going good for you, you don't have any major problems today, but let me tell you, there is something, right? Jesus said each day has enough trouble of its own. So there's a problem in your day. You may become so accustomed to it, you don't see it's a problem, but think about it. Big or little problem. That if you could just have some advice from God, you could move forward or make some improvements or changes to the way you do things, to your life and your life's foundation. Okay? Determine what it is, then go to God, pray, and ask him. Ask him to give you his advice, to guide you, to make it clear and simple, without reproach, what his wishes are for you. It is his joy and his nature to give you good wisdom, to give you the best advice and decision, and to reveal it to you plainly and simply and clearly and generously. Now notice, it does not say generously and immediately. Yes, it may take a little time, but to be able to pray without doubt, start doing this today. Ask for wisdom in something big, something small, all things that you could use the advice of God on. And then start writing it down. Write down what you are requesting wisdom for in a notebook, on a Word document, or in your notes app on your phone. Write down in a prayer journal, whatever that journal looks like for you, what you are asking for God's decision or advice on. Then check back at least once a week. Check back frequently until the decision is shown to you, because you will get an answer. And keep doing this. Keep writing down the next request for wisdom, the next request for advice, for godly direction, and something specific in your life. Godly decision. Please reveal that to me, Lord, for this incident, this situation, this direction that I'm choosing to go. Review it, write it down. When you've been supplied a response from God's generous wisdom, write it down. Keep doing this, writing them down, reviewing them, doing this consistently, writing, reviewing the answers. This will build your faith and trust in the process of seeking God's wisdom, seeking his advice, guidance, and decisions for your life and for his direction for your life. That's what will build the faith without doubt. Friends, this is all I have for this teaching. I want to close again with a recommendation. If you've not already read it, my book, Closer to God, Simple Methods Starting Today. In this book, I share how my mindset changed and how my daily practices changed in order to find closeness with God, even among all the busyness, all the stress. It's a short and simple read. It's a little bit of a why-to, but it's more appropriately a practical how-to. It's available on Amazon, and you can even read it for free if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription.